Hi, I'm Nadine Gilkison. I'm Franklin Township's District Technology Integration Specialist. And today I'm going to be walking you through what it would be like if I did this model lesson in a classroom. So when I walk into the classroom and I add this into our Google Classroom, which it could be any LMS that you add it to, when I have the students open it up, I begin by telling them that a lot of times whenever they're doing an assessment for their teacher or any type of state assessment, they're asking them to read a passage and then they need to justify their answer with text-based evidence. Well, as we've noticed, more and more people are starting to use video. So when I was in a fifth grade classroom this morning, I commented to them that as they start to get older, they're going to start to notice that video types of questions are going to start to appear. So to practice this concept, I've developed this model lesson, and we start out that we do the first example whole class, and I have the students go to slide 2. So they follow along with me here, and we notice that there is a video that says, "Why do we hiccup?" So I tell the students, just like how you have sentence stems that go along with justifying with text-based evidence, we're now going to be working on how do you justify when you watch a video with video-based evidence. So I begin by having the students say back to me these different stems that are pointed out at the top. And I stress to them that we're used to watching a video for enjoyment. And now, as we're starting to see these pop up in different types of assessments, we need to know how it is that we're going to utilize that video to show what we know. So when I modeled it, I showed a portion of this video, "Why do we hiccup?" And I did not even show the entire video. I started out by showing about a minute and a half. As I stopped it, I told them, first of all, focus on what it's asking you to do. So over in this box that says explain, I'm asking the students to type out what are the reasons why that we hiccup. And I let them know up front, I said, this is a pretty cool video and you're going to see a lot of interesting facts about hiccups. But right before I modeled it, I said, I want everybody to repeat after me. "Why do we hiccup?" And they said, "Why do we hiccup?" So then after that, I said, I want you to keep your radar focused in on this is the answer that you're looking for. So then I went in and I proceeded to show the first minute and a half. Now on here, I'm going to show you just a snippet. And with the video, it gives you some interesting facts, like I said. Now I'm going to actually go ahead and skip right to the portion that I needed to show you what causes hiccups.
So what causes hiccups? Doctors point out that a round of hiccups often follows from stimuli that stretch the stomach, like swallowing air or too rapid eating or drinking. Others associate hiccups with intense emotions or our response to them: laughing, sobbing, anxiety, and excitement. Let's look at what happens when we hiccup.
Now, at this point, this was actually where I paused the video when I start out doing this lesson whole class. And I start to ask the students, I'm like, okay, so he spoke pretty fast, but I want you guys to tell me what are some of the reasons why that we hiccup. So this morning when I was in a class, I had a fifth grader that said, well, we hiccup when we drink a lot. And I said, okay, now let's start to analyze what you're saying. Because when someone's asking you for an assessment and they want to know, a reason why that we hiccup, if I give them just a blanket statement of saying, well, when you drink a lot, that's not giving a specific enough of an answer. So I always relate everything to, in Indiana, we use I-step. And so we always have that did not pass, pass, and pass plus. So I openly talked to the kids about this and I said, I'm sure, you guys want to know, how do I get that pass plus and what makes that kid sitting next to me and why did they get the pass plus? So what I explained to the kids this morning, I said the difference is that the student that's going to achieve that pass plus because of an answer like this is that they're going to use some of these sentence stems that you see up at the top, and they're also going to get detailed in their response. So I pointed out to the student, I said, so for instance, instead of saying, well, it's when you drink stuff, then I said, okay, now, if you need to, you could go back and rewatch that portion of the video. Again, if it's text, they could go back and read over it again. And I said, but I need you to give me more detail than that. And so then the student said, oh, well, they were drinking soda pop. And I said, so see, if we started it out according to the video, one of the reasons that we hiccup is because when we are drinking too much soda, we are also getting a great intake of air at the same time. And the students were really resonating with that when I said that. I had another student raise their hand and say, oh, it's caused because of emotions. And so then the kids started to catch on, and I said, okay, that would probably be a pass answer, but the person who's going to get the pass plus is that one who's going to take the time to get into the detail. So then the students were catching on, and they started saying, oh, no, wait, I heard in that video, it's not just any emotion. It was sobbing, anxiety, extreme excitement. So then we stopped and we paused, and I said, okay, now some of you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'm not even going to use the word anxiety because I don't know how to spell that. So I don't want to take my time, to type it out. And I said, actually, guys, I really want you to push yourself to go ahead and use a bigger word. And I want you guys to go ahead and type that out, because that's also what's going to set you, showing that you are beyond, and that's what's going to help you achieve that pass plus. So at that point, when we were having this discussion, I said, now at this point, you're showing what you know really well because you're being verbal. And I said, 9 times out of 10, this is what's really hard for you, is that there's 2 things. You have a time constraint, and that bothers kids because they don't like to have that time constraint. But the kids kind of giggled because I said, yeah, but if there is no time constraint, you could spend like 10 or 15 minutes just watching the video and you're not even actually getting to the question. So then we talked about, okay, yeah, they do need to have a time constraint. And then I said, the other problem is that we're really good verbally telling somebody what we know, but we're not really good when it comes to typing. That's the part that frustrates kids a lot. And so then we transitioned into, I taught them how to glide over to this text box. And I said, let's talk about how the cursor looks different once we get to the 3 dots. Ooh, it looks like a capital I is what they told me. And I said, now tap on it. So they all followed my lead and we tapped on it. And I said, now tap the backspace, get rid of where it says type here. Now when you get ready to type, it's all good to go. And I said, I want you to take a look at these prompts up here. And you guys were so good telling me verbally. Now it's your turn. And I want you guys to type out and show what you know about it. And because I took that avenue of explaining why I need them to push themselves when typing it, I got a lot of students that the teacher commented to me that she saw them typing more than they ever have. So I think just having that honest conversation with students. Now, again, this was modeling. So at this point, after I gave them a few minutes, then I asked some students to share. And once they shared, then I said, now, if you're going to raise your hand, you got to be okay with when you read yours out loud, that you're okay with me kind of critiquing you. I said, I'm going to pretend to be that person that's scoring. And I'm going to tell you if it would be a pass or a pass plus. And I said, so if you're not comfortable with that, then don't put your hand up. Still had a lot of kids that put their hand up. And they were really open and honest about it. And I asked the kids to chime in when a student would reflect. And it really helped them pause and think as they were typing out their answers. And other kids in the classroom would say, ooh, I don't think you're quite at a pass plus because you aren't adding enough detail. Or did you use any of the sentence stems that are up at the front? So then once we did that, then after that, I let the students go in and they selected their own choice. I gave them a time constraint of 15 minutes. I said, select one. And then at that point, then they got to practice it on their own. And they loved it because they had student choice. Awesome way to get students typing, and they had many ways to try it out.